I've I've obviously found you through Octane here in the States,
Oh,
and when I saw that Amy and all of them are working with you,
mm,
dude, I freaked the fuck out and I shot an email. And I'm like, I have to hear the album. I've got to interview the band.
same.
I absolutely love what I've heard, and I've now heard
And
the
now,
album.
mm,
Man. Ooh, the album's coming, and I don't think people are ready for what they're actually going to hear when this thing hits the
oh,
masses, man. This, you
thank
guys
you so much.
fucking killed it. Um, you
Thank you.
know, what I love about Hollywood Suicide, no boundaries. He did it on the first record, on the self-titled,
Yeah,
no fucking boundaries, man. This is art to its core. Nothing sounds the same. This is art, and that is what I love
thank
about
you
it.
so much. I
Yeah,
really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely.
it was hard. It was like a bit like, okay, good. The people loved the first one, and then, okay, so what should I write? Really try, I don't know. I mean, you always tend to do like, or you try to do it better, and sometimes it's like you start to overthink and all that stuff. So I circled back like to, okay, I just want to tell my own story. That's it. So yeah, but I'm glad that it's done. So it took, I don't know, fucking 4 years. I mean, okay, we had COVID like 2 years,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm happy that it's done, to be honest, even if it turned out
right.
great along it.
Right. The first record was really good that it came out in 2021, kind of in the
Yeah.
middle of the pandemic. So I feel like a lot of music that came out in 20 to 21
Mm.
just kind of got lost in the shuffle and didn't necessarily get the real attention that the music deserved. What did you want to do coming off of the self-titled record, knowing that, okay, times are completely different now. More
Mm.
people are paying attention. More people are probably going to hear this record. What did you guys want to do this time around? Or was it more like, this was really good, this worked, so let's stick with this?
So it's like so basically, so a Ghost Kid is kind of like a solo project. So I'm
Mhm.
writing all the tracks and so on, just me, my producer, so he's polishing all of that stuff and so on. So for me, when I wrote like the first album, it was like, okay, am I capable of writing my own record? So, and it turned out great. So I mean, this is just my story that I'd like to tell. And after that, it was like the biggest bummer ever, because you put everything in there, and then we never had the chance like to perform it live, for almost 2 years or something.
Yeah,
And I mean, except for a few like social distance shows, it's
yeah,
it's like this
yeah,
weird fucking thing where people
yeah.
are sitting in front of your stage eating steak and fries while you try to set up a metal show. It was
It's weird.
definitely worth. Yeah, it is weird, and I just told my guys, yeah, we have to do that, because if we can perform under the worst circumstances, it's probably like a good learning, to
Right.
appreciate that when real shows will start again. Um, but yeah, so like in between, to be honest, I kind of lost the connection to the music, and the songwriting, because
Yeah.
I mean, you write a record just to perform it live, to present it to the people, and if you don't have like this opportunity to do it, it's like I kind of lost the connection. So it took me like 2 years to go back to songwriting, and in the first place, it was like, okay, good. So I mean, I learned a lot over those 2 years, but when I got back to it, there was another step, I would say, where something changed, where I told
Or
myself, okay, good. It's like, I mean, music nowadays, anyway, is so fucking competitive, because you get so much influence, like on social media and so on. And at some point, I just said, okay, fuck it. I'll just give it a try and start again, just try to tell another story or whatever. And yeah, then I figured out, okay, so maybe I can it could be a concept album, because everything went into a specific direction, and yeah, this is
yeah.
how everything started. But it took a long time to finish everything. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm always those one of those guys, okay, I'm laying down an idea, half track done, okay, it's cool, I'm gonna work on that later, and then it's like the finishing process is always killing me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Dude, one thing I really love is the diversity of all of these songs. You know,
Mm,
you've got your heavy shit like FSU, like the title track.
yeah,
But then you've got some songs that kind of go back and forth between super heavy, but they also get really chill, but then throw in the
yeah,
electronics like Black Cloud. I love Ugly. But then you've got the chill songs like Sex and Valerie thrown in
yeah,
there as well. Um, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying with like the no boundaries. You know, a lot of
yeah. That's true.
especially rock bands now is like everything's rock and there's a ballad thrown in, and which is great, but like
Mm,
these are sprinkled in, you know, at just the right
yeah.
times. Is it a conscious effort to have some like heavy shit and then some
Mm.
chill, you know, vibe? Geez, sit down and just vibe to like Valerie, man.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's like this is what I mean, sometimes you just you tend to like to write heavy stuff,
Yeah.
so and I think where really I don't know, how can I describe it the best way? So I went to LA for 4 weeks, with my A&R. Basically, it was kind of like a business trip.
Yeah.
And like after 2 weeks, I figured out, okay, I'm changing, my whole world flipped upside down. It was more like, okay, like how the people celebrate art is so fucking different compared to Germany. Because in Germany, we don't have like a real rock scene. It's more like, okay, you do this metal shit, you scream, or you do pop music, it's like those two options basically. I mean, it feels like that,
Yeah.
And what I've learned when I've been there like for 4 weeks, okay, you can step outside of your comfort zone. You're allowed to discover yourself, and if the environment is good for that, it's so much easier, like to get access to yourself and get access to yourself as an artist. So I figured out it doesn't matter if a song is heavy or not. You should just listen to yourself and this, what you would like to present. So, and maybe that's the reason where like I mean, on the debut album, it was kind of like the same. I like to experiment a lot. I listen
Yeah.
to so many different kinds of music and different genres. I think metal is the music. I don't know. I'm not listening to metal that much anymore.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Same.
I'm just looking for other genres that inspires me. And I think if you write a track, it doesn't matter if it's calm or not, as long as it transports something, if people can resonate with the emotion you try to represent, it's like it doesn't matter. It just has to be a good track, or it has to be a track that represents yourself. I think that's
Yeah.
the most important thing, And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that helped a lot just to have that kind of consciousness now.
Yeah, absolutely. I love listening to the record on the interstate on the highway going to work in the morning because I'll be sitting, it's like 8 in the morning. I'm like, all right, you know, oh, we're awake. And then, you know, a chill song comes on. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, we're chill.
Mm.
Then it wakes me right up with, you know what I mean? I love it. But that's also like what you
Thank
just
you.
touched on. That's what I
Mm.
love about a lot of bands from artists from Europe, like yourself, Blind Channel, Electric
Yeah.
Callboy. There's music is music, and for it to be
Yeah.
heavy, the music doesn't have to be heavy. The vocals
True.
don't have to be heavy for it to be a
Yeah.
heavy song. You
Totally
know,
agree.
it's the what you feel listening to it can make you feel like it's a heavy song. You know, there's two
Yeah.
different types of heavy. And with all of you guys, man, I just love how you you're so much more open-minded than a lot
Yeah.
of the American metalheads and rock fans are. We're very close-minded over here. You know,
Mm.
oh, what did they throw into that? That's not metal, that's pop. No, but as
Yeah.
you get older, I feel like good music is good music, and if you feel happy and you feel something listening to it, you know, that's what makes it good. I work in pro wrestling as well, and that's same thing.
Ah.
A good match is just something that makes you feel something watching it and gets you
Mm.
invested in it. It doesn't matter what type of match it is. Same thing with music, and
True.
that's what I love about your music is,
I
you
mean,
know,
it's just all about the passion, I think. It doesn't
mhm,
matter what you do. If you do something and you love it, I think people can definitely feel it, listening to your music, or even just watching a match or something. You definitely can tell, yeah, maybe this guy is not the best, but he's doing it with a lot of heart. And this is, I think, what makes a bigger impact on people than anything else. But this is hard,
yeah,
just to to stick to your roots, to stick to your passion, you know, if you got so many distractions and like, I mean, life is so fucking fast nowadays, you know,
Yeah.
it's always like, it became so crazy. But yeah, totally
Yeah.
agree.
When did you realize that you could scream like you scream? Because your unclean vocals
Oh,
are fucking insane. You know, like it's just like Corey Taylor. Like you can scream and scare the shit out of somebody, but your clean vocals are so beautiful that they can soothe you and calm
thank
you at the
you.
same time. When did you realize that you had that type of a range, that diversity with your vocals?
Oh, that's hard to tell. I mean, in my old band, you know, so I was a part of Electric Callboy for 10 years, you know.
Oh shit,
Um,
really?
yeah, yeah, I'm the
Oh
ex-singer.
shit.
Yeah, it's completely different what I'm doing now, but yeah, that's part of my journey. And so, but I have to circle back like many, many years ago. I think I started singing when I was, I don't know, 20 or something, you know. So originally I'm a guitar player and I did just a few background vocals and so on and just experimented a bit with screaming and singing. And it was a lot of fun, you know. So, and, but I always wanted to do it professionally. So there was this band like in Castrop Rauxel called All Smile and Grief, and they were looking for a singer. And I said, okay, come on, I give it a shot, you know. So I mean, I've been singing and screaming like in my old band before that, where yeah, used to play guitar. So, and then I joined that band, which became later Eskimo Callboy. I
Yeah.
mean, now
Yeah.
Electric Callboy, you know. So,
Right.
and yeah, this is where the journey began, like being me. I mean, being a singer, you know, and I went through a lot of ups and downs because in the beginning I had like no technique and my screams were a bit more rough. I compare them like to, I would say the first Slipknot ones. I think the technique was pretty similar. And
Right.
but it I blew up my voice. Like, you know, I wasn't able like to, I don't know, survive more than 3 shows, you know, and I never really found like a perfect way to do it. So I took vocal lessons and so on, you know. Um, and in the last 2 years with EC, it was like, okay, I figured out a different way to scream, you know. So I've been working on that, but it was not like really that character. So when I left EC, it was like, okay, good. I'll stick. I'm gonna stick to that technique, you know, and just practiced a bit more. Just got more comfortable with that, you know. And I mean, like being on my own in the studio and really have the time to discover myself as a singer a lot more, you know. So I came up with this weird technique. I don't even know what it is, you know. So it's like yeah, it's like this little bit voice in it, this high raspy. I don't know how to describe it. But back in the days, I was definitely screaming and singing with a different technique. So I've been switching techniques, and yeah, I'm
Mm.
still learning. You know, I wouldn't consider myself a good singer, but I just give it
Really?
a try and just do it. You know, so it's yeah. But
Right.
this is, I think I started singing and screaming like in when in my 20s. I don't know, like 15, 16 years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah, that I think a lot of people that don't know metal don't realize that the screaming is there's an art to it. There is a technique to it. You can't go out there and
Yeah,
just, shout. Seriously, there
no.
is a training you really can go through to do it correctly, like you said. Otherwise, you aren't going to be
Mm.
in this for very long, you know? Um, yeah.
I mean, it's basically the same as singing, you know. It's like
Hmm.
it's funny because when I'm in the studio I prefer to do screams first because it doesn't fuck up my voice, you know.
Right.
But when I'm singing and especially stuff I'm not used to sing, you know, I mean I got my ranges, you know, where I know okay, this is the spot where I felt comfortable. And I can't remember when we had, I guess when we've been recording Ugly because that was the first single after the debut album.
Hmm.
And my producer told me, yeah, we need to do it a bit more raspy, you know, but it was like on the edge of like, okay, it's too clean. And I mean, it has to be a specific pitch to get raspy for me naturally, you know, and I had to push it so bad. And this track is like not that hard to sing for me, but we needed it raspy, you know. So I don't know, like one day my voice was gone, kind of like, so sometimes it's weird.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's hard
one
sometimes.
man, one of my favorite things about Ghost Kid is the imagery. The imagery, the appearance, it doesn't stop at the music. Like it's a
That's true. Yeah.
whole, like it is absolutely awesome. How important
Thank you.
is the imagery, the wardrobe, the appearance to the overall presentation and package of what Ghost Kid really is? Because I feel like the imagery almost speaks louder than the music does. Is that on
Yeah, true.
purpose? Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think like the whole imagery is like I mean it's another I'm always or I used to say, okay, music is kind of like communication, but there is
mhm.
another side, of it. So you can communicate over, I don't know, over look, over music video or whatever, so I think you need to pick something that underlines the music, like on a different, how can I say that, on a different sphere of art,
Yeah.
and for me, it's always like the same. Every time I'm listening to music, I got this little movie in my mind, and if the aesthetic fits the music, then it's like the full package. I mean, try to imagine you're watching a Hollywood movie just without the music or like the pictures, It's like, for me, it's always like those two parts belong together, so it's definitely as important as the music, you know?
Mhm. Definitely. And I
Yeah,
really feel like especially in today's world where there's so much music and it's so easy to
yeah,
get lost in the shuffle, you really do need something to catch people's attention to bring them in. Like,
true.
holy shit, what
Yeah,
is this? Like,
yeah.
dude, I love your imagery so
Thank
much. Those
you.
those promo photos, man, just the appearance is I'm
Yeah,
in I'm in fucking love with the entire presentation, man.
it's
Um,
always crazy. It's so important for us, but most of the time it's just okay. We're in a rush. We have to do it somehow. It was like with the promo shooting. It was like, okay, we need to do a promo shoot, but it's always like sometimes I'm a fucking mess when it comes down to that. It's like everything last minute. I
yeah.
mean, under those circumstances, everything works fine, but I wish I would have a bit more time or wouldn't stress myself out when it comes down to the aesthetics. But
Mhm.
it is it is something at least, but I think in the future, um it's going to be a lot more crazy, because if you have some time to think about that and just start early, I
Yeah.
was thinking about as well, like to start sewing my own stuff as well for the guys, so I have the
Nice.
sewing machine. Just
Ooh,
got it for Christmas like 3 fucking years ago. I never touched it, so it's like, okay,
of course.
one day is the day.
That's the same thing with me. I got a drone for Christmas. I haven't touched it yet. And I'm like, I want a drone for years. I got to get a drone because I do photography. I
Oh
haven't touched it.
yeah,
Haven't touched it yet. Um,
yeah, yeah.
one of my favorite quotes I've seen from you is when you said that the biggest problem the biggest problem nowadays is that art doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
And that resonates with me so much, but I want to hear your thought process behind that. Why do you feel like it's important for art to hurt?
That's actually a quote from a friend of mine, and he said, art doesn't hurt anymore. That's the biggest problem, because he's a singer as well, and we've been talking about a lot about, well, what it means being an artist, and he's like kind of like the same kind of character, is like the self-destructive, and I don't know, how can I describe it? It's like this weird kind of artist thing, you love
Yeah.
to be in trouble and create chaos and whatever, no rules, and I don't know. And he just said one day when we've been talking about that kind of art, he was like, art doesn't hurt nowadays anymore. So his name is Angst, and he has a band called Angst, it's German rock music. And I said, dude, this is the fucking best quote somebody ever told me, because
Mhm.
it fits so well. And I mean, I wanted to add that, like, to the aspect with the aesthetics, most of the bands look like the same, because they try to stay in the comfort zone. And I think if you discover yourself a lot more, if you just think about yourself and what you want to tell the people out there or what you want to represent, is like sometimes it's important to hurt. If you just talk about a specific topic which is important, or I don't know. I mean, for example, let's say heavy rain. This is something I would say which is not an easy topic, but I'm just speaking about myself and things um, I had to experience personally. And I think if you really want to represent, or I, I mean, music is a great way to let the people feel your own feelings.
Yeah.
And I think there is no compromise. I mean, of course, if you just how can I say that, if you want to downgrade somebody, is it the right word? I don't know. If you want to hurt somebody, downgrade, let's say downgrade, whatever. That's not the right way to use art. But if you want to
Mhm.
tell a story, I think there are no rules, because it's just emotions. It's just honest. And if you have to be honest, and if you want to wear a dress on stage, that's you. Just
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, art, there's no, like you said, there's no right or wrong when it comes to art, when it comes to music, because if
yeah,
it's real, it's genuine, and it's coming from a place of even the emotional stuff, if it's coming from a place of personal journey from something you went through, that's
yeah,
going to affect somebody. And that's where I get to Heavy Rain. Obviously, that's the
yeah,
big single right now. That's the song that's really blowing up right now all over the place. Octane just won't stop playing it like 10
yeah.
times a day.
Shout out
It's
to
crazy.
Octane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
I haven't expected that as well. But for,
yeah.
but for me, that it's like it's a super special track, because it was the most intense one to write. Because I felt absolutely shitty when I've been writing that track. But this is how I just deal with things. I turn it into tracks, and just then I feel a little bit better. So it's great to see that it gets some response. Like, and that they play it on Octane. That was, I don't know. I was so surprised, and it's great to
Mhm.
have like the most intense and special track for yourself, like playing on the radio. What is amazing. And it's a
Yeah.
good indicator, I would say. Like, okay, um, it's better to listen to yourself than to just find inspiration somewhere else. It's like, oh, there was a rhyme. But it's true. I mean, like, if you are not capable of just, I don't know, keep like the competition out of your mind, probably you can't listen to yourself. And I think this is where art in general is based on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get to a point, especially with a song like Heavy Rain, listening to those lyrics, you can tell you were going through something, you were dealing with that.
Yeah.
It's very is it hard to revisit those songs when you play those songs live, or do you have to disconnect yourself from where the song came from?
Not really. It's like I said, it's more like, okay, when the track is done, so I instantly feel better, because like, you make it through the process, kind of like, you have to think about it over and over again, so you dive a lot more deep into everything. Even if you feel shitty, or you feel pain, or whatever. Writing a track about that means you're really just going through that shit again and again. And I think that goes a lot faster, why things are okay after that. And when I'm playing it live, for me, it's just like, okay, that's a part of myself, but it doesn't hurt anymore, and that's fine. And even live is just a big distraction, because you're always focused on, I have to sing good, I have to do this and that. So
Right.
sound is shit or whatever. So there are so many things. So now, playing it live it's absolutely fine.
Nice. The music video for that song, you got three videos out right now. The first
Yeah.
two of them are more just live performance videos, which I think is really good, especially for the
Mhm.
for Ghost Kid, because people who've never seen you before kind of really get the idea of what the show is like, which I haven't seen you live, but I have to now.
Mm.
I need to, but the Heavy Rain video is the one that really stands by itself because it's a different
Yeah.
type of video. You're more traditional story music video.
Mhm.
How involved were you with the treatment of that video, putting it together, the concept of the theme? And when you sat back and looked at the final video when it was done, what
Yeah.
did you think? How did you feel about it?
It's like I'm always involved in the whole concept and the treatment. It's just basically everything that is being creatively, I don't know, yeah, everything that's being created when it comes down to creativity is basically my part. It's like
Yeah.
writing the tracks, doing the concepts, the videos, and so on. I try to make I mean, like organizing everything, building a shitload of stuff on my own with the guys and so on. So
Yeah.
um, when it was done, shooting music videos is always pretty
It's a
hard.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, when it was done, I was happy that it turned out as expected.
Hmm.
Because it's always like I'm pretty picky. But Nick, the video guy, he did an awesome job. And we sat together and we're cutting the music video together. That was great. So, and it turned out beautiful. So I
It's
love
so
that.
awesome.
It's great.
It is so fucking good. Like so good. Yes.
The only
Um,
thing that bothers me about this music video is like I wasn't able to cover my tattoos. That was the only thing. I mean, probably nobody will recognize it, but for me, it was like, oh shit, I'd like to cover them. But everything was in a rush, and for me, it was like, oh shit, man, I have to
right.
find a solution just to cover it. Yeah,
Well, man, here in a little over a month now, the album will be out, and you're going out
yeah,
here in the States. You're going out with Black Veil Brides, dude. Uh,
yeah. That's
talk
crazy.
about, oh my God. Talk about another band whose music is emotional, personal music that's really helped fans through a lot of stuff, just like
Hmm.
yours has and will continue to do. Talk about coming over to the States, hitting the road with Black Veil Brides, going out on that tour.
Yeah.
Dude, those shows are going to be packed, man.
I hope so. I'm
Oh,
super
they will.
excited for it. We're
Oh, they're
gonna
gonna be
see. We're
full.
gonna see. It's the first time for us. Yeah. No, but I'm super excited for that too. It's like I've been waiting for a chance like that for I don't know since the debut album dropped.
Mhm. Yeah, those shows are gonna be awesome, man. I'm so jealous that the shows aren't coming anywhere near me, because like God,
Maybe the
I
next time.
I have to see this stuff live, man. When you sit back and really look at what Hollywood Suicide is, when the product is
Mhm.
done, now that it's finally close to being released,
Yeah.
how do you feel about the album? What do you feel like it says about you as an artist, the one that really put it together, created it, breathed life into it? What does it mean to you?
Um, I would say it's another chapter. I would say. So it's another part of the story, and I'm super excited how the people are gonna like it. Because I've been working on that stuff for 4 years now. I would have done everything completely different, of course, like you would always do.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
for me, it's like, okay, that's another step like on this whole journey. And I'm super excited to start writing the new record. And I mean, I already did a little bit of songwriting.
nice.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm super excited how everything's going to turn out.
That's awesome, man. 2024, we're about 3 or 4 months in now. What does the rest of the year
Mhm.
look like for you? The record is almost out. I assume
Yeah,
lots and lots and lots and lots of touring this year.
true. Yeah. So we play a bunch of festivals. At the end of the year, we're gonna play our first headlining tour, and yeah, it's gonna be tough year, but super interesting.